Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my glass studio. In this video, I want to share with you how to make component pieces that you can incorporate into your other art. So I have this pretty little leaf pattern here, and in one of my previous videos I showed how to use this and make your own stencil. And you can make designs, intricate designs, background patterns on your art. This time I want to show you how to use this pattern in order to cut out different shapes that then you can detail and incorporate into other pieces of art. So these are called component pieces. And they're fun because it breaks up, when you have a bigger project, something's more elaborate, a little more complicated. By working in phases or stages, it breaks up the construction, and these are going to be a little time consuming to cut out. So by doing them in advance and preparing them, then I can use them in another piece of art and really add a lot of nice detail to something new. And that project will move along pretty swiftly because this background, project portion of the design has already been done. So what I'm doing here is taking this design. Basically, I glued my design onto a piece of manila folder. I like this because it's nice and stiff. And if you treat your designs nicely, they'll last you forever. So I traced, I glued the piece of one of this pattern piece onto some stiff paper. I cut it out with an X-Acto knife right here, and I ended up with, a positive and a negative. And then this part I used as a stencil for frit, and this part I'm going to use as a pattern to cut glass pieces, and then work these into a piece of art. So what I'm going to do is take my leaf shape, rotate it until it fits nicely on the glass. Then I take a Sharpie, and I trace around the design. Now because this material is nice and stiff, you can trace around it a whole bunch of times, and you still keep all the detail, the nice sharp points, and you get that nice sense of intricacy for this design. Now these leaves are kind of complicated to cut, kind of a pain in the neck, to be honest with you, but I really like the way they look, so it's worth my time and effort to do it. Now you don't always have to have a complete leaf. Look here, I can only fit a partial on here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. And this one might be a leaf that got, blown away, got caught in the lawnmower maybe. It, it deteriorated because it's a little older. I don't know. All sorts of stories could go with this leaf. But there we go. So now we have a partial. That one could potentially hang off the artwork. And that's fine. Not all the pieces have to be on the art. So I've got two red. Now you notice right here I've written the word red on the glass. In my studio I have some glass that looks red on the shelf, but when it fires it turns orange, which actually that would make it perfect for this project. But right now, if I'm going to use red, I want to make sure I retain that color. And now I'm going to outline a couple of orange ones over here. Now if you don't have a saw, which I do, I'm going to cut these with a saw. If you don't have a saw, then you could just make these leaves in a greater number of pieces to get the detail, or do the stencil method. And then you have the detail much more quickly with less time cutting. I'll put this one here. So I'm going to have, and I like to have an odd number. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, we might need another leaf because we probably want to have 9. And I've got another color I can pull out and introduce this. Maybe I'll pull out that one that turns orange so you can see how the color changes. There we go. I've got 2 orange. I don't think we're going to be able to fit 2 green on here. So what's going to happen when I go to the saw, this Sharpie is going to wash off because it's water soluble. So to prevent that, I'm going to go over all of my lines with lip balm, right here, with this lip balm, and then the line won't wash away. You could also use Vaseline. I've heard some people use like hairspray, and that works too. What I like about the lip balm is it's inexpensive, it's small, it's easy to handle. It kind of already has, like a handle on it. Makes it real easy to use. And I like to buy cherry flavor because I like the way it smells. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm going to take this. Well, actually, first thing I'm going to do is cut as much as I can by hand. So I'm going to hit the high spots. There we go. Work my way around. I'm going to move these over here. so when I break this material off over here, it's not in my work area. Well, I hope this one works. I went pretty deep on that. But this is a pretty easy glass to cut, so yes, it worked. Yay! Okay, as you can see, there's quite a bit there to cut with the saw. So I'm going to take my lip balm. Oh, big old gooby there. Go over the Sharpie to make it water resistant. Now, depending on how long you use the saw, you know, for each time you're cutting it, you may wash off some of it, and that's okay. You can always go back in, dry the glass, you'll clean off the glass, dry it, and reapply the lip balm. All right, so let's go ahead and take this over to the grinder, and let's take it to the saw. Here we go, we're over at the saw. Now this is noisy and messy, so I've got my apron on to keep myself clean and keep the glass off my clothes. And tell you what, this smells like fall. It smells so delicious. All right, and I'm going to put on an extra layer of protection because this is a little guard you can put down, but mine's a little difficult to see through because it's been used so much. So I'm going to be sure to have extra layer of protection on my eyes. So I'm going to put these on because they have this nice shield on the side to protect my eyes. So when I turn this on, it's going to be really loud. I'll do my best to talk over it, and maybe we won't. Nikki's shaking her head. No, we will not talk over it. We will just keep going. You get to just watch because she's going to bring the camera in closer. So let's go. Not good. Not good. So, this is what happens when something goes chunkity chunk in the saw. Never good. So, this means we need the engineer husband to come out here and show us how to repair this. So, but look how beautifully this was coming out. Sometimes if you look at stuff from the back, you get it on the front, it's very messy because of the Sharpie and the lip balm, but look how beautifully the lip balm is working for us. And on the back, you get a really nice indication of the shape. It's a beautiful shape, the area that we have cut so far. Let's see, I can wipe my hands on there. But now we get to take this thing apart. Well, let's just go ahead and do that. Boy, this is really a learning experience here today, isn't it? All right, so let's open up the saw and see what it is that went kerplunk, kerplooey. Oh boy, the water's kind of ugly. Got that going for us. I just refilled it. Okay, so let's look over here. All right, we have, it looks like the blade is intact. It looks like the rubber thingamajig.
Belt.
Thank you. The rubber belt has popped off, but it looks like the blade is still intact, and that's a good thing. So, anyway, I'm gonna pull this apart off screen, and I'll show you what we're doing. It's just right now I've got to go get some paper towels, and I've got to get this out of here and get this yucky water out of here, and then we can dig in there and see what the problem is. Okay, good news. Nothing's broken. Yay! Okay, but some of the parts some of those things moved around. If you look right here, the cutting wire is supposed to be centered on this wheel. There's a little groove over here. Maybe Nikki could show you this little groove right there. And this cutting blade, the ring saw ring, is supposed to be in that groove, just like it's in the groove of this wheel. So that popped out, and then this is the drive belt that makes it move, and this, it's supposed to be behind here and stretch through here. So what we're going to do is loosen some of these screws, like maybe this one, to move it out, put everything back in place, put this back in place, and then cinch it up so that it holds that cutting wire where it's supposed to be. So an unfortunate snag in our project, but fortunately it looks like we can put it back together and get back to business. So we're going to do that. And you can also see I'm taking my saw apart here. I've got my little spatula tool, and I'm scooping out all that residue from cutting glass and dumping it here in the garbage. And we're going to put some nice fresh water in there and make that look beautiful again. So small delay, but a little housekeeping moment, as well as a little bit of, you know, touch up and repair to the saw. So we'll be right back to finish our cutting. All right, we're back. The saw has been repaired by Fabulous Joe, who fixes everything and anything. So now we've turned it on. Sounds good. Cleaned out the inside. We had a little, you know, got a little refresh there. And now we're going to finish cutting this leaf. But I'm going to go a little more carefully, a little slower, because I have a whole bunch of leaves I want to cut, and I don't want to have any problems. So we're going to move this out of the way. Let's turn it on and just hope for the best. Sometimes I use the cutting wheel, the blade here, the wire, as a grinder. So if I have a shape in here I don't really like, or like over here, it looks like I'm missing something, some sort of part of my design, like another little indentation. So let's go ahead and add that. It's possible that broke off when the blade had its little issue. But now look, again, if we look at it from the back side, look at the beautiful shape we have. Isn't that just awesome? That's going to make a terrific component. And really detailed, really ornate. So I'm going to go ahead and dunk this in the water here. I'm going to wash it off just with water and this sponge. There we go. Get that Sharpie off, get the glue off of there, get the lip balm off of there. Whoops. There we are. And now it looks beautiful. Dunk it again. And look at that really nice detail. I mean, that's a very ornate leaf. I love it. And I love the color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring the other leaves over here, cut them out one at a time, and then I will show you how we're going to make these even a little more fabulous with some detail and some frit. All right, so we spent some high quality time over there at the saw, but look at these fabulous pieces that we got. We got yellow, orange, this one's a marigold. Now this one broke, but we decided, what the heck, we could use it anyway. This is the red that turns orange. So this is the red that retains its color. That one we cut from the edge of the glass, so we have a different shape there. I really enjoy this light green. And then we have this nice dark green. And you know, when you use the saw, as much as you try to follow that pattern, each one came out a little different, which is really awesome because, you know, every leaf is different in its own unique way, just like snowflakes. So what I'm going to do now is, these are very lovely, but they've got a lot of nice detail, but I want to give them more detail, of course. I want to, add some color to them, because fall leaves generally are not always just a single solid color. They generally have some variation to them. So I'm going to, pick, let's do the yellow and orange first. We'll do the two yellows first. And I'm going to take some, I have powdered orange. These are all opal colors. Orange, dark green, yellow, red, and fern green. And these are opal colors. Opal means that they will show up on other colors because they have white in them. I'm going to take my, my little mask, put this on. There we go. And now I'm going to take my sifter here. And look, this is frit that I reclaimed from another project. And it's an orange and red together. So why don't we just reuse that. Pour that in the sifter here. And we'll reuse that on this bright yellow one. I'm just going to kind of sift it around the outside edge. Ooh, isn't that fun? I think I'll do it on this one as well, because I think I have enough. Oh, running out there. So maybe we need a little more red on that one. Next, double check this. No, that's orange. Okay, orange is fine. Sift that along the outside edge. Okay, I love that. Now maybe a little bit of, let's see. This is dark green, this is fern green. I think I'm going to kind of leave it at that. Maybe I'll put a little more orange on this one here, towards the center a little bit. There we go. Okay, I want some of that yellow to be exposed. Some of that base color, I want some of that to be exposed. Now I'm going to take this brush and draw through to give these a little more detail. And you know what? I think I would like that detail to be skinnier. So I think I'm going to do this. What? Yeah. I don't like something. I don't hesitate to redo it. Let's take that off there. If we're going to redo that one, boom. Let's redo this one too. Okay, now I'm going to take, let's see. I'm going to grab a nice wide brush. And I'm going to scoop this back up, put it back on this paper, and we're going to reuse it. And I'm going to get a skinnier paintbrush. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I've got these two brushes, this nice big fluffy one and this super tiny pointy one. That's going to be our detail brush. What we're going to do is take this, tuck it under the paper here. And this is why I like working on paper with frit. Because you can, sometimes reclaim some of it. And that's always a plus. And, if you feel like you can do something more than once, if you don't like it, if you feel like you can redo it, you're more likely to try new techniques and different things. If you feel like it's permanent, and you have no opportunity to make it different, then sometimes it's paralyzing, quite literally paralyzing, where you don't want to do anything. So don't let that happen. Allow yourself the opportunity to redo things. So that was the yellow and the marigold. Let's bring those back. I'm going to pour this into the sifter over this piece of glass. There we go. Perfect. Look how handy that little stiff paper's coming in. All right, now we're going to sift around the outside edge here. This is an orange and yellow, red and orange combination, and it's getting a little stronger this time, and I think that's fine. Let's see, what we're going to do is move this out of the way. Oops, okay, that one's a dunner. Okay, so we ran out of powder on that one, so I'm going to reclaim it again. And I know this is getting a bit like, okay, Lisa, just get rid of the darn stuff, but you know what? Do your best work, whether you're just doing little component pieces or, you're just kind of hanging out in your studio. You always want to do your best work. If you're not doing your best work, maybe come back later. Maybe the timing, maybe it's not your artistic moment of the day or the week, and maybe you're distracted or things. But, working on art is a great way to, enjoy yourself and reduce stress and all those things that would make you, not do such a great job. All right, now I'm focusing around the outside edge here. There we go. Okay, I'm loving that. A little bit on the stem. Loving that. All right, I feel like I have enough on these. Now, if you feel it's necessary, now this we can't put back into any jar because it's a mix of colors. If you feel it's necessary, you can spray this with hairspray. You can very gently spray this with hairspray. I generally don't because it's just another step. And sometimes if you spray too vigorously, you actually blow your frit away. And that disturbs the design. I'm going to take this tiny skinny brush and just kind of draw through. Just give a little bit of something. Oh, I like that. Okay, can you see that detail there? Isn't that fun? All right, now let's do a little something else. Take a tiny bit of green, and I'm going to go over here and grab a smaller sifter. And hopefully I don't drop it on top of my work. And I'm going to take a little bit of this dark green, put it in this sifter. Maybe put a little bit, you know, a little bit here and there. So that they're not just all the orange and red. Ooh, I like the way that's coming out. Okay, I'm going to call those two done. So now we're going to move these around. Now the trick to the powdered frit is that it doesn't really show its true color in the jar. It looks very pale. So you have to know your material. Now this red, I'm going to avoid using red frit on this because it's not really going to show. So I'm going to go yellow first, towards the middle. I'm going to put yellow in here, do it around the perimeter. Let's do yellow on this one also, since we have it in the sifter. And you know that I'm doing this kind of around the outside edge, but I don't have to do that. I could kind of, here I'm doing it kind of diagonally. That could be fun too. A little more on that outside edge to really get good coverage there. Now I'm going to take this one. Now this is red and orange, so we're going to we'll use red on the orange one and orange on the red one. Ooh, this is starting to get tricky. All right, so a little bit of orange out here towards the tips. Oops, I just bumped that one. Maybe a little bit there. Okay, loving that. Now some red on the yellow and orange one. Now that you look at these frit, and the red and orange look very close. That's what I'm saying. You have to kind of have to guess with this a little bit. Okay, I like that. Just kind of a tinge. And now let me go ahead and put a little bit of fern green on these two. Ooh, this is fun. Okay, now we're going to take our skinny mini brush right here. Oh, look at that nice detail. I'm really enjoying that little brush. Look how tiny that is. Okay, you know what else might work for you if you didn't have a little tiny brush? Maybe a pencil. Yeah, ooh, that even gives you a finer detail. I might even like that more. Okay, so look at the difference. This is the brush, this is the pencil. So you could also use something like a toothpick. Maybe if you have a paintbrush with a back end like this, maybe use that. So I'm going to leave that one the way it is and maybe use the pencil on some of the others. All right, so we're going to move these here. Now, a lot of times when I do a technique like this, I make sure my kiln has a prepared shelf in the kiln ready for these to go in. So I don't have to leave these on the table for any length of time where there's potential for them to get damaged. So as soon as we're done with this, they're going right in the kiln. Look at that fabulous stuff we have going on there. Okay, we're reclaiming that. Yes. And we're going to use it for the remainder pieces. How fun. Now we got this great mix going on. And then we'll detail those with a little bit of, color of our choice at the end. Right, take this little paper here, tuck it underneath. Oh boy. Sometimes these projects that we do for you guys start out as just a simple little idea. And then as I'm working, they keep evolving and becoming more complicated because they become more fun. Just the idea of doing this seems like, oh, well, okay, that's kind of a simple little thing to do. And then once you get started, it's still a simple little thing to do, but it turns into so much more. All right, so I'm gonna do the light green, the dark green. I don't think I'm gonna do the, should I do the red? I don't know, should I do the red? Yeah, let's do the red. Okay, we're doing it. You know what, I think I'm gonna use, well, I don't know what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use the big sifter because it's here. And I'm not sure if I could get this material into the little sifter anyway. Kind of little sifters like the little sisters. All right, here we go. Now this one's a combo of colors, so that's gonna be fun. Maybe on this red one we go down the middle and let the outside edge be exposed. Do that one a little differently. Okay, there we go. I want good coverage around that outside edge. Okay, all right, so on these, let's do the pencil technique. Ooh, I think I like that. Okay, those are not so straight, that's all right. All right, then let's take on this one, let's add a little green. Maybe, where's my spoon? There it is. Add some dark green. Just on the edges there. And then, let's put that back in the right spot. Then on this one, you know, these colors got a little muddied, so let's add a little bit of yellow to the tips. Maybe that one, we add a little red to the tips. Okay. What do you think? Maybe a little orange on that one, or we leave it? Or maybe a little red?
Leave it.
Leave it. Oh gosh, that tells me to leave it. Okay, well, I've got 4, 5, 6, 7 leaves. I always like to have an odd number, so that's great. I have a few more under construction over by the grinder and the saw. So I am gonna probably go ahead and complete those while I've got this mess going on in my studio. Might as well do more, because I've suggested in the past, if you're making little dots, if you're making little component pieces, make extra. You can always just put them aside, use them later, and ideas will definitely come to you if you have these little guys in your studio. So I'm gonna make some extra ones, and I'm gonna detail them out like this, and I'm gonna fire these to a tack fuse temperature. At that temperature, the frit will melt into the glass and be permanent, but I will retain the shapes of the pieces. They won't shrink on me. And we'll have nice edge quality, and then we will bring it back in after they've been fired, and we'll discuss some options and ways to use them. Hey, welcome back to the studio. So we fired these really fun leaf shapes overnight. We did a tack fuse temperature. At that temperature, we will retain the shape, the outside perimeter shape of the pieces, get a soft edge where it's not sharp, and that frit on top will melt in and become permanent. So let's open the kiln and see what we have. Oh boy. Wow, look at these. Isn't that just so colorful and pretty? Wow, loving it. So I've got, you know, this is how it has a yellow base. Look at the yellow rim around there. Then the green. Now this one, gosh, the color kind of got absorbed. The detail of the frit on top kind of absorbed into that dark color. Same thing happened on this red one, kind of absorbed it. But this one, we have some color happening there. So some of them are more concentrated or more obvious, that we have a detail on there. And then others are a little more subtle. And that's terrific. This one right here, I bet you this one was made with the mix that I swept off the table. Because you see how it's kind of muddy? It's not quite, like this one, it definitely goes from green to yellow to orange to red. Whereas this one kind of is a mix of colors all around. So keep that in mind when you're making these. You know, the type of material you use and the colors you use and how you use them will give you varying results. And that's why I suggest you make more than you think you want, or more than you think you need, and take before and after pictures, of course. Because then you can go back into the before pictures and you can say, oh, well, I like the way that worked, I want to repeat that. Or this other one, you know, it's a more subtle coloration, maybe I want to repeat that. So you can go back and reference those pictures. It's a great learning tool for a future reference and when you want to repeat something. So loving the way this one came out. I love this one also. the green with the red, kind of the burnt orange and red on it, and then the detail. We drew that on. This one I believe was drawn on with the pencil. So that was fun. And look how rich this is. Oh, look. Hey, check that out. Had him a little too close. Woohoo. There we go. Now we have two. Anyway, these have nice detail on them as well. This one's very subtle. So, and this one's subtle also. But look how nicely they work together. They complement each other, and we have a nice array of techniques. So there again, I'm using a variety of different colors, a variety of different frit on top. These are all opal frit. They were powder, and opal generally will show up on a color because it has white in it. Now some of these showed up more than others. So great example of doing test pieces and why that's so valuable to you in your studio. Anyway, I'm really thrilled with them. I have a whole bunch of ideas going on in my head right now on how to use them. But I have so many ideas, I'm not even sure where to start. So what I'm going to do is let you guys, make your own leaves. Now you can get this pattern for free on my website. You go to the free patterns tab and you click on there and you can download it and make your own leaves and follow along with the video and do your own combination of your own application of powder frit to those leaves. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking about different ways to use these and let you do the same. Let you figure out what you want to do with them, and then tell us in the comments. Let us know if you think we should slump them. Should we just make a wreath out of them? Should we put them on a plate? Should we just put a bunch of them together and tack it together and just make an abstract open air thing? Should we put them around a frame? Should we just put them, I don't know, on a mantle? I don't know. Should we put hooks on them? Oh my gosh, see all these ideas? Lots of options. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these leaves. Really enjoyed sharing it with you. Please like, subscribe, follow, all the above. Or consider becoming a premium video member. We'd love to have you. Have new projects come out there all the time, and very excited about the stuff we have coming out in the near future. So thanks for joining me here out in the studio. It's a beautiful day for fusing. It's a beautiful day for art. And until next time, happy fusing.